Hello. I don't know why I'm so freaking awkward when I make videos, but I just am. This is a hangnail or something, I don't know. I cut my nail with a knife and then I'm in pain. That's all I can say. Anyways, this video is going to be long as shit, but there is a reason for that, and that is because I'm gonna try to be as informal as I can. So like, while I want this to be a serious video, I also want to just kind of state the fact that I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. Have you ever seen me without this beanie? Like, yeah, what up? I should just shut up and just like get to it. We're talking about stretched ears today. That hurt my hand. Ow. We're talking about stretched ears. What are stretched ears, you may ask? Well, let me get my big ol' ear out. These, I look like an elf. These are stretched ears. My actual top part of my ear is huge. Yes, I know, you don't need to tell me. Leave me alone. Yeah, maybe I'll pop them out. Maybe I'll pop them out for the video. Kind of. Can't even see. Whatever, who cares? This was something that was highly requested on Instagram after I asked about what kind of videos y'all wanted to see. So we're doing it. Now, I want to make some disclaimers. Everybody has their own way of stretching. You're gonna hear different shit from different people. I'm not saying that this is the right way. I'm just saying that it's gonna be better for you in the long run. Like, you want nice, healthy earlobes. You don't want to like rip your fucking skin off. Follow my instructions. You're gonna have people who tell you something completely different. That's fine. Take it with a grain of salt. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But yeah, this isn't the end all be all, but it's what works for me, and it's what works. I can't speak, bitch. This is what works for me. It's what helped me get to the size that I'm at, because I've been stretching my ears for almost 7 years now, and I've had troubles along the way. So I'm trying to like let y'all not make the same mistakes I did, learn from my shit, and yeah, we finna get into this. Another quick disclaimer is that I am in no way a professional. I'm simply just an enthusiast. I like to know all the information that I can about what I'm doing to my body because I don't want to fuck it up, you know? So I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional piercer. I'm not anything like that. I'm a normal ass bitch. Kind of normal. Yeah, I don't have a license, and I'm not responsible if you take my advice and fuck your shit up. I wanted to put timestamps because this video is going to be so long, and because I'm an idiot and I talk too much. I'm going to put timestamps in the description box below. If you want to just skip to whatever like thing you want to know about, you can go there. But to start off, we are going to go over materials and types of plugs. Now, I store my plugs in this. This is pretty much just like a tackle box, a jewelry box, whatever you want to call it. Bought it off of Amazon. I can link it below if you want. It's very noisy. This is like the most convenient way that I found to store all my plugs. You can like change out the sections and stuff. I'll open it so you can see it better, obviously. But you can like change out the sections, like the sizes and everything, depending on how many plugs that you have, how many different sizes that you have, etc., etc. So, getting into it. I'm gonna try to show you without everything falling out. Just my general consensus here. I have all of my glass plugs on top, which I use for dead stretching. I'm gonna talk about that in a future moment, time, period, whatever. You can click down below if you want to just learn about that. I have all of my 7/8 or 22mm plugs here, and then all of my 1" or 25mm plugs here. So, materials. All the plugs I'm going to be showing you are my current size, which is 22mm. It's just what's convenient. These are standard stainless steel single flare tunnels. Single flare basically means if I turn the plug like this, there's one side that's completely flat, and there's another side that has a lip. The lip is usually about 1 to 2, usually it leans more towards about 2mm bigger than your actual size. So if I'm 22mm, which is 7/8, this diameter right here, the actual like hole, like the wearing size, is going to be 22mm, but then the lip is going to be about like 24mm. This looks like it's about 24mm. The reason that is because when you wear them, they're not going to like push through your ear and fall out, like shit like that, you know, like I think we know why it's like that. They usually come with O-rings. O-rings look like this. They just go onto, if I can get it on, they go onto the back of the tunnel or the plug or whatever you're wearing. It's just like an extra thing to help keep them on. I don't ever really use them. Some people find that they're actually allergic to whatever material that is in here that these are made of. I don't know what they're made of, but I've heard of people being allergic to these. They do come in clear, so if you find that you're allergic to them, you can always, like whatever site that you're buying them from, if there's an option to get clear ones, you can always like request it or check the little check mark on it and say, I want clear ones because I get a reaction to the black ones. Alright, next we have double flare plugs. There's two types of double flares from my experience. There are just regular double flare, which, I mean, I'll just grab a random one like this, double, or you have screw-on double flares, which I'll talk about these first. Double flare, difference from single flare is that single flare obviously only has one flare on it. Double flare has two. If you have a double flare plug or tunnel that doesn't have a screw-on back, because the lip is at least like 1 to 2 millimeters bigger, like I said before, you want to make sure that your ears are either stretched. So like I'm 22 millimeters, I want to make sure that my ears are either stretched to 23 or 24 millimeters before I'm able to put in a double flare comfortably. Now with these, the screw-on double flare, that doesn't really matter because you screw off the back like I just did. I can't even, there's no good way to show you this. You screw off the back and you can put the tunnel in or the plug, whatever, and then you just screw it back on. The only thing with these that I would suggest is to, one, go slow, because you can, if you have long hair, you can get your hair stuck in it, obviously. Or there's always the chance that you can like pinch yourself with these. But I do find that I actually like the way that these look when they're in. This is just like a black coating, and this is just like a rose gold coating. So the next material we're going to talk about is stone. Stone is one of the more natural kinds of materials. It's one of the best materials that you can wear in your ears. That's another thing too. A lot of people have different preferences for what they wear in their ears. You're going to hear different things from different people. Obviously, certain people will have different reactions to certain things. I've heard people say that stainless steel isn't something that you should be wearing in your ears. I personally have never had any problems with it. Some people say that you should wear like titanium grade steel. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt. Doesn't really matter to me. But like I said, with any material that you're wearing, if you find that it's like messing with your ears are getting irritated, red, crusty, whatever, maybe try switching to a different material and then figuring it out from there, you know? Anyways, stone. These are just regular black onyx on whatever tunnels. I have some opalite tunnels here too. The next material we have is glass. All of my glass plugs are actually the plugs that I use when I spit. These are actually what I use to stretch with. I'll explain that in a bit. But yeah, these are just regular glass single flare plugs. These are like the best materials. Another one of the best materials that you can wear for your ears. Anything that's natural or glass is gonna be the best for you. A lot of people say that stone, wood, and glass are like the top 3 materials that you should be wearing in your ears. Alright, so next we have silicone and wood. This is a double flare, like skin colored ear skins from Kaus. This is a double flare white ear skin, and then this is just a double flare white silicone tunnel or plug. And then for wood, I have these double flare. I forget the material of these. I don't really remember. I'll put it on the screen if I do. I'm lumping silicone and wood together because these are 2 materials that you do not want to wear when you're stretching your ears. I've heard so many stories, and it stresses me out, of people saying that they stretch their ears to the next size with silicone. First of all, why? Second of all, okay, like, your balls are not that big. Like, I'm sorry, but like, that's fucking painful. Like, 1 millimeter stretches are fucking painful, and you're telling me that you stretched up from like 19 millimeters to 22 millimeters by shoving this in your ear? Why would you do that? Whatever. Thirdly, okay, I'm gonna explain to you why you shouldn't do this. Silicone and wood are both porous materials. You know what that means? That means that if you're stupid, sorry, but like this is like the one thing that like ticks me off. If you're stupid and you decide to stretch with silicone, okay, not stupid, but like misinformed. If you're misinformed and you decide to stretch with silicone, or you stretch and then you put in like a wood tunnel right away, they're porous, which basically means that if you end up accidentally like ripping your ears, because it happens, like it's happened to me, like I've had plenty of blowouts and plenty of tears in my ears, sometimes because I was stupid, sometimes because my ears just hate me. Like I said, I've been stretching them for 7 years. They're so fucking stubborn. But if there's a chance that you end up tearing like the inside of your ear and you don't realize that, if you don't catch it right away, what can happen is that your skin can actually like adhere to the material because it's porous. So like the fibers are gonna like stick to it. It's gross. So when you go to take it out, you're just ripping out all of your skin. And like, why would you want that? So like, you know, just if you want to stretch your ears and you want to do it properly and you want to see what a blowout or a tear, any of that looks like, it's all like NSFW. Google it yourself. I'm not going to put any pictures up because they're fucking gross. Like, I've seen it in person myself because, hi, like, I've done stupid shit too. Whatever. Silicone and wood you want to wear when your ears are fully healed. Silicone is another material where people are like hit or miss. I don't really know. Hit or miss. I guess they never miss, huh? Silicone, yeah, it's another material that's like some people are like, you shouldn't really wear it. Silicone, I don't wear for more than a day. I don't sleep in silicone. I don't wear it for more than like a few hours, whatever, because like I said, there is the chance that you might get like a random tear or a cut in your ear and you don't realize, and then it just rips and it's not fun. Like, I don't want that to happen, so that's not happening. With wood, a big tip with this is that you really, honestly, truly do not want to wear this when you go swimming or when you like take a shower. Like, do not get these wet. Why? Because wood expands. So if you have this in your ear and you go swimming or whatever, your ear is gonna fucking, it ain't gonna be fun. Let's just say that. And it goes right back to what I said before about how if you manage to get like a cut or a tear, it's gonna stick to it. The fact that it's gonna be expanding in your ear, that is a big chance for your ear to fucking cut it. And yeah, I'm stressed out about it. Anyways, yeah. So my other tip with wearing wood, especially with these because they're double flare, I make sure to massage the shit out of them with whatever oil that I'm using. I do the whole plug, like inside, out, whatever. Put it in my ear. Like I said, I don't wear wood for more than a few hours. I'll wake up at like 8:30, put them in by like 9:30, go to work, come home. I'll get home around like 4:30. Usually by 5:30, I have these out. Like, they're out of my ears, like, we're all good, etc. Alright, and then the last material I want to talk about is acrylic. Now, I am going to tell you right now, acrylic is the #1 material that you don't want to use in your ear. This is another thing where a lot of people are like, well, I use acrylic and like my ears are fine. It is subjective, but acrylic is made out of materials. To be honest, they're materials that you don't really know what the fuck it is. It's all just random shit. So that's why I don't personally have any plugs or tapers, which tapers are a whole other thing. I don't have any plugs in my size or the sizes that I want to be at that are acrylic because I just don't trust the material. If I'm gonna wear something in my ears, I want it to be something that's either natural or I want to know what it's made of. You know, like stainless steel, like, you know, it's stainless steel. It's not a super expensive material, but it's not like super cheap. It's not like $2 fucking. So yeah, acrylic is something that I would not 100% just not recommend that you wear. I have a baggie right here of like a bunch of smaller sizes that I was at. As you can see, I have acrylic tapers. I have like little like acrylic plugs. I found that at small sizes, like I would say anything under like a 00, it's okay. Like, you know, acrylic isn't that bad, but at the same time, it's not something I would stretch with. It's not something I would wear for long periods at a time. I don't trust acrylic. You can do whatever you want. I wouldn't suggest it, you know? Alright, so now we're gonna get into how to actually stretch your ears, the whole process of it, etc., etc. Once again, this is something that's really controversial, subjective, whatever, to a lot of different people. This is, once again, just what worked for me, and it's what I suggest because, in my opinion, it's the easiest. You're gonna not destroy your body. I mean, we are destroying our body, but like, we're making it fashion. But you don't want to destroy your body and make it ugly, you know? So, starting off, the one main thing that you want to make sure that you have, in my opinion, it's the best. It's jojoba oil, like spelled like this. You can buy it anywhere that you buy plugs at, or you can buy it at, I know like CVS and Walgreens have it too. This is weird. I put mine in a Smashbox primer bottle, like an empty one that I had, just because I find it's easy just to like squirt out a little bit on my fingers. Like, I use it to stretch my nose too, whatever. So yeah, this is gonna be your godsend. You want to massage with this twice a day. Next up, you're gonna want a gauge card. Once again, this is something that you can buy at, or not buy, but like, okay, so like for example, this is from Body Art Forms. They always send out a free one whenever you buy plugs from them. I highly recommend them. Everything's great quality, fast shipping, etc. Not sponsored, but yeah, a gauge card. I like gauge card because if I have a plug where I don't know exactly what size it is, I can easily just, for example, I can easily just grab the plug, look at my little gauge chart, and be like, okay, so this is about 11 millimeters. Looks like it's about 7/16. They're really easy to read. It's got like pretty much all your basic information on here. Obviously, this isn't like something that you need, but like it helps. And other than that, you really just need plugs. Like I said, you never want to wear double flares when you're stretching. You never want to wear acrylic, silicone, or wood when you're stretching. And another thing is that you never want to wear tapers when you're stretching. What are tapers, you might ask? These are tapers. What a taper is essentially a tool that people use where it starts off small, like this, and then it gets gradually bigger. The main premise of these is essentially you lather them up with oil, you lather your earlobe with oil, put them in your ear, you push it through the hole, and it gradually stretches your ear. These are controversial, mostly because it is kind of like a blunt force trauma thing like happening to your ear. If you use tapers to stretch and your ears aren't ready to stretch, there's a big chance of a blowout, there's a big chance of you tearing your ear. But another thing is that there is a big chance that you can stretch with these and your ears come out uneven, especially if you don't put a plug in right away after. Now, when I see people wearing these, especially at like bigger sizes on public, I cringe so hard. Like I swear to God, I'm not trying to sound like an elitist bitch, but it honestly just like pains me because I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you hurting yourself in that manner? You don't need to be doing this. It doesn't look good, first of all. It does not look good. Why do people think that wearing this fat ass thing in your ear looks good? It doesn't. On what planet, Barbara? What fucking planet? Reason why you don't do that. You got this in your ear, especially if you have it at like heavier sizes. All that's gonna do is you're gonna put it in your ear like this, and it's gonna hang backwards like that. That's gonna stretch your ear unevenly. You don't want uneven earlobes. I don't know why people do this. It stresses me out. So I'm gonna pull up a little gauge chart. I'm gonna put everything right here. Another big tip that I have, stretching by millimeter is 1,000 times easier than stretching by gauge or by inch. Why, you may ask? Well, if we take a look at the chart here, so 8 gauge to 6 gauge, that's a 1 millimeter jump. You're going from 3 to 4. 6 to 4, that's a 1 millimeter jump. 4 to 2, that's a 1 millimeter jump. 1 millimeter jumps are big on itself. Like it may not seem like it, but it is a big jump, okay? Like, I don't know how to explain it, it just is. 2 gauge to 0 gauge to 00 gauge are some of the hardest stretches for people, and like a lot of people are like, I don't understand why. Like, it's like, I understand the size difference is so big, but I don't know why my taper isn't going through. I don't know why my ears hurt. It's because from 2 gauge to 0 gauge, that's a 2 millimeter jump. Same thing for 0 gauge to 00 gauge. That's a 2 millimeter jump. I would not advise stretching with tapers past 4 gauge. That's just because once you start hitting like that 2 gauge mark, that's when shit starts getting heavy in your ears. That's when you really just like, you want to start like actually taking care of your ears. 18 gauge to 6 gauge, those are all fairly easy. I mean, even 8 gauge to 6 gauge is a hard jump for people. I remember it was a hard jump for me, but like 18 gauge to 6 gauge, 8 gauge, somewhere around there, those are fairly easy. Really, there shouldn't be, if you do it correctly, there shouldn't be a lot of damage. Most people say you should wait at least 2 to 3 months between sizes. Some people say longer. In my opinion, if you can stretch without any pain, do it. If you at all have to force a taper in, do not stretch. If there's any pain at all, do not stretch. It's as simple as that. Like, listen to your body. You'll know when you're ready to stretch because everything should go smoothly. There should be zero pain at all. Everything should be fine. My biggest tip would be to stretch after a shower and make sure you use a lot of oil. Stretch in the shower if you want to. Now you're gonna be like, oh, if I can't stretch with tapers, what the fuck do I stretch with then? Alright, so you got 2 options now. Option number 1 is the taping method, not the taper method. Taping, ing. You can use, I think it's like, I don't remember the exact order the letters are in. I think it's like PFTE, PTFE, one of those two, I'm not sure, but that tape or bondage tape. I think I still have my bondage tape. I did, or the PF whatever tape. This is exactly what it sounds like. That kinky sex shit that we're all into secretly. Yeah, that's what that is. This isn't my favorite method of stretching my ears, but it is something that works. Basically, the idea is to take either a plug or a tunnel, either no flare. Oh, I never mentioned no flare. Ha, no flare just doesn't have a flare. Either no flare or single flare, and basically you cut off, you do like 1 single wrap around it, or 2, depending on how risky you want to be. I would suggest one full wrap around the plug, and then you put the plug in your ear, wait like 1-2 weeks, something like that, put another wrap on your ear, wait another 1 to 2 weeks, put another wrap on your ear, and then that's how you'll slowly, like, gradually stretch up to the next size. The other method, which is my personal favorite method, is called dead stretching. This is why I was saying that millimeter sizes are like the best way to stretch. I always use millimeters when I'm explaining what size I'm at. Like, yeah, I live in America, but if my ears are at 23 millimeters, it's like, oh, my ears are 7/8 and 0.4. It just sounds stupid, whatever. So dead stretching is essentially wearing heavy jewelry for a long periodically time, and it's naturally going to stretch out your earlobes. Simple as that. I keep, like I said, I keep all my glass plugs that I've used for dead stretching on the top row up here. They go from 5/8, which is 16 millimeters, all the way to 25 millimeters, which is a full inch. How does this work? Well, what you're gonna do is you're gonna buy glass plugs. So these single flare glass plugs. I got these off of Arctic Buffalo. It's super cheap. It's like $3 to $5, not even, for a pair. So you get 2 of these for like $4. That's cheap. If you're stretching from 16 to 19 millimeters, what you're gonna do is you're gonna buy plugs in 16, 17, 18, and 19 millimeters. So when you get your plugs in, you're gonna put in the 16 millimeter plugs and you're gonna wear them for however long you feel like. For me, it takes me about a month to 2 months to stretch up a millimeter. So to get from 3/4 to 7/8, it took me about, I'll say a good like 5 to 6 months. It was this ear stretches faster than this ear. There's no pain to it at all. When you're ready, you can just like you'll kind of be able to know, like if you play with them, if you tug on them, you'll be able to feel like when they're like loosening up, when they're getting ready for the next size. Something that I did a lot, I wasn't sure half the time, so I would just grab the next size after a shower. I would go in with it, I would like play around with it, try to fit it in. If it didn't fit, I'd be like, okay, not ready yet. Put the other plug back in, wait another week or so, try it again. That is like the most foolproof method I would suggest. It's what I use to stretch, like I said, from 16 millimeters to the size that I'm at now, which is, I'm at about 23 millimeters because I can wear double flare plugs and there's no pain to it. But before that, I was using like the taping method. And then before that, I was using tapers and stuff. I was having like such issues sizing up because my ears just like weren't taking anything. But glass plugs, dead stretching, that's the one thing that helped me. So if you find that you have stubborn ears and like taping isn't working, or you are at a bigger size now so you can't use tapers anymore, try dead stretching. It's gonna be the best thing for you. Now, just like taking general care of your ears, it's really easy. There's something called ear cheese, which is basically like, 1, really gross, and 2, built up dead skin cells that are in your ear from not washing them. A good way to fix that is that you don't need to use soup. Don't use soup on your ears. You don't need to use soap and water like every fucking day, but like at night or in the morning when you take a shower, or like when you wash your face, when you brush your teeth, whatever, just pop out your plugs, rinse them off with water, rinse off your ears with water, and then you're gonna massage with jojoba oil. Twice a day is preferred. Once a day is fine. Doesn't really matter. As long as you do it at least once a day, you'll be good. When it comes to sleeping while I'm stretching and sleeping while I'm at a size that I'm comfortable with, they're kind of two different things. Sleeping when I'm stretching my ears, so let's say like I'm at 23 millimeters and I want to get to 25 millimeters, what I do is I wear my heavy glass plugs during the day, and then at night I will wear my single flare 22 millimeter tunnels, if that makes sense. So I'll wear like my 23 millimeters out during the day, and at night, come home, I'll try to wear them as long as I can, but then the minute I go to bed, I will either take them out and sleep naked, or I will put in the 22 millimeter plugs or tunnels. The reason why I do that is because your ears will shrink up if you leave them naked or empty or whatever you want to say. If you don't have jewelry in them, they will shrink up like just a tiny bit. It's not like a big deal. It's not like they're gonna close up overnight. They're probably never gonna close up. But you know, like, it's just gonna help to keep them open, and it's gonna make it like not as difficult to get in the next size. The reason why I don't sleep with like heavy glass plugs in is because they're just big. Like, they're uncomfortable to sleep on. The back pops out like super far, so it kind of like presses into the side of your neck, and it's just not a fun experience. So I don't sleep with the glass plugs in. They pop out anyway. It's not fun. Now, if my ears are at a size where I'm comfortable with them, like I'm like, you know what, like, this is a good size to stay at, like I'm comfortable here, not gonna go any bigger and not gonna go any smaller, whatever, I just sleep with them out in general. Massage them with jojoba oil. Can never say that word on the first try. Massage them with oil, go to bed. Wake up, put your plugs back in. I would advise starting to do that maybe like 2 months after you're already at the size that you want to be, just because if you're stretching up bigger, you don't want to be constantly taking your plugs out, putting them back in, taking them out, putting them back in. It's just gonna like kind of cause trauma to your ears, and you don't want to risk them tearing, risk getting a blowout, etc. Alright, so the last thing we're going to talk about is what to do if you do end up getting a tear or a blowout. Now, tears and blowouts, my voice again, tears and blowouts are two different things. A tear is just a simple cut in your ear. They're generally easy to heal. Are they annoying? Yes, but they're generally a lot easier and a lot faster to heal than blowouts. Blowout is basically when the inside of your ear pushes outwards. That's what we call a cat butt, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I have it. I have it in both of my ears, but in my opinion, now that they're healed, now that like everything's all good with them, like I haven't had issues with my ears in like over 2 years now. 1, it's not that noticeable. 2, it's kind of more of like an aesthetic thing as you go on. You know, a lot of people are like, well, I want to have like nice earlobes when I'm not wearing like plugs in my ears. I don't go out in general without plugs in my ears. I don't like the look of like naked earlobes, so I don't really have an issue with that. As you can see, my ears look perfectly fine with plugs in. So yeah, blowouts, when they're healed, it's really kind of just like an aesthetic thing. Don't really have to worry too much about them. They can cause some trouble when you're stretching just because the back is kind of pushed out a bit, so it may cause for like some uneven stretching, but really shouldn't be a big deal. There is always the option of getting it professionally like cut off by a body piercer. I've heard stories of people like taking the O-ring and like putting it around it and like cutting off the circulation so that the skin like dies or some shit. I don't understand what the fuck people do with their bodies. I don't know. Don't do that. That's stupid. Like, that's just gonna turn black and give you fucking gangrene. Like, I don't understand. Anyways, whatever. Moving on. What to do to heal it. My favorite method is lithe, which is basically leave it the hell alone. L-I-T-H-E. Leave it the hell alone. You find that you have a tear in your ear? Alright, first thing you're gonna do, downsize. Do not wear silicone, do not wear wood, do not wear acrylic. Try to wear glass or like a stainless steel, just like a really simple material. Single flare or no flare. Try not to wear O-rings, they're gonna irritate it, but you're either gonna, depending on how bad the tear is, obviously, but you're either gonna size down 1 to 2 sizes or just completely take out your plugs. You're gonna do the same thing with the blowout. The only difference is that with the blowout, I know it's gonna fucking suck because you're gonna have to downsize a lot. That happened. I went from like 1/2 inch to like, I think it was like a 4 gauge or something like that within the matter of like a week because I blew out my ear and it got fucking destroyed. But you know, you do stupid shit, there's consequences. Some people are like, oh, use like Neosporin, use like products on it. I wouldn't. The most that I've done with my ears is using very, very diluted tea tree oil. I'm a natural bitch. No, not really, but whatever. But no, using very, very diluted tea tree oil is one thing that I help to like speed up the process. A lot of people are iffy about that. Like I said, it's all like subjective. It's all what works for you. For me, it never caused an issue or anything, but that's because I know how my body reacts to tea tree oil. Because it is such a strong like healing agent, it will react badly to some people. That's why you want to dilute it with a lot of water. Your best method is gonna be just don't touch it, leave it alone. Make sure that you wash it twice a day. Don't even put oil on it. You don't want to put oil on an open wound just because it's gonna take it longer to heal. It's not gonna heal properly. But the minute that you see that the skin is closed up, that's when you can start massaging it with oil again. That's gonna help with scar tissue. With both tears and blowouts, you're gonna want to wait a minimum of 3 months before you start stretching again. Once again, that's subjective for everybody. Everybody's bodies heal at different rates. I found that with some tears, depending on how bad they were, I was able to start stretching again a month after they were done healing. I've had really bad blowouts where I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing anything for 6 months. You have to judge what your body can handle and what it can't handle and then go from there. So yeah, this was a very long video. I do apologize, but then again, I don't. I'm annoying. I think I covered everything that I possibly could. If not, oh well. The internet is a vast abyss of information. I'm sure you can find what you're looking for. That's all from me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around and dealing with my awkward self. And I will catch y'all whenever I decide to upload another video. Deuces.